Of course, you know, it's a national conversation, and APC has been on it. I'm talking about the same faith ticket on a national level. But if you were to narrow it to the south-south, looking at Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, and Rivers, what would you say is the attitude? APC has been explaining that it's all about competence. It's not about any other aspect. And so the best man is who APC is going to be fielding, or the best people. And in this case, when it comes to the presidential ticket, that is exactly what they have done without, without fear or favor. That, you have a situation where Shettima, being of the same religious faith with the principal, with the presidential candidate, it's worrying some. Give me your overview of what you think the attitude is in the South-South generally to the explanation of APC for having a same faith ticket.
Well, I am a Christian. I come from a predominantly Christian state. In fact, in my state, it is almost 100% Christian. And so I understand the dynamics of the perception of our people with regards to the same faith ticket of my party. I would like to let you know that perhaps one of the most liberal communities, one of the most liberal zones in terms of religion is the South-South. If the conversation that we have at home is that we have some states in the South-South where the governors are Christians, the deputy governors are Christians, and yet we have some of the worst level of governance, some of the worst kind of leadership that we have had in a long time. Delta State is one of them. And we have come to the realization that if we must grow as a people, then we cannot be talking about the personal relationship of the leader and his God. What we would rather think about is the relationship between the leader, his vision, and the people of Nigeria. So you'll be shocked at the results of the elections from the South-South. Our people could not be bothered about the faith of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, we even know, in fact, it is a known fact that his wife, who is a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, is also a daughter of the zone. And so we prefer to even talk about her being our sister and our daughter than talk about even she being a pastor. We couldn't be interested whether she's a pastor, just as we are not interested whether the husband is a Muslim. What interests us the more, or the real interest that we have, is predicated on the competence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the fact that the First Lady is going to be our sister and our daughter. That alone is enough for us. What he does with his God is his business. What other candidates do with their gods is their business. We're not interested. That is their personal decision. Any God that they want to worship is their personal decision. This is the thinking of our people in the South-South.
This is, actually, as I'm speaking to you, our guys have a picture, or they just taking the picture away, but that was a rally in Port Harcourt. It's, as you were speaking earlier about, it's not possible for anybody, no matter how rich he is, to rent such crowds. The pictures that were seen just before they're taken away, seem to be one of those kind of pictures. It looked like if you were to throw a stone in there, it wouldn't drop to the ground. But I just wanted to explain the picture that people were seeing on air. But there you go. That picture there, that is going back. That's the rally. And I beg your pardon. Well, this is not about Port Harcourt. It's Kano, but it's sort of showing, the kind of rallies that have been held. If you would you like to say a few words about, we talked about the same faith ticket, and you sort of explained that. Now, the person itself, the person of Shettima, the running mate of Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the running mate for APC, what is it that you would hope that people would grab hold of, in addition to what you've said, that most thinking members of society don't look at those matters as personal, private, but the quality and caliber and experience of the person itself. What would you want the people to, what is it that you think the people will be missing about Shettima, former Governor Shettima, now running mate to Tinubu?
I am very sure that the people who mean well for our country will look at his stewardship as governor of Borno State, and even his stint in the Senate as a senator. It's more about that than what he does on Fridays. Even in the thick of war, even in where Boko Haram had circled Borno State, the kind of things that we saw under him coming out of Borno State, we couldn't even get them in certain states where some states that had even, or that have even in the South, where you have this 13% derivation, and you have humongous amounts of money paid to them every month from the federal allocation. You could hardly see that kind of development in some of these states. I want to use a state in the South as an example of where you have these kind of resources, and yet you cannot match it with development, and you juxtapose it with a state that was in the very theater of war, and what they were able to do, I'm very sorry, what they were able to do under the leadership of distinguished Senator Shettima. I would like for you to look at Delta State. For so long, Delta State has been harvesting humongous amounts of money from federal allocations, and yet what is coming out of there cannot be compared to what Shettima did in Borno. So for those who are desirous of a new Nigeria, where you have competence take precedence over all other considerations, then Shettima will be welcomed in every household, even as the people begin to make up their minds as to who to vote for on the 25th of February. I think they will favorably consider voting for a man who was able to do what was completely near miraculous, as Shettima did in Borno.
Okay. I'm sure you're fully aware, I think yesterday when the presidential candidate of APC was speaking to a body called the Federation of Construction Industry in Nigeria, he had vowed and pledged to develop what was referred to as life-changing infrastructure. Now, of course, that would be following the theme, if you like, of President Muhammadu Buhari, who, whatever anybody else says, his credentials as far as infrastructural development throughout his tenure cannot be denied. Now, Tinubu is saying that life-changing infrastructure is what Tinubu-Shettima administration would bring to bear. Could you comment a bit on this?
We have Lagos as an example. We cannot run away from the stewardship of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos. When he makes those kinds of promises, what I ask Nigerians and urge Nigerians to examine and interrogate is his stewardship of Lagos. If he says he's going to bring life-changing infrastructures into the Nigerian state, then let us look at what he has done in Lagos. Is it true that he has brought these kinds of things to Lagos? Is it true that we have a co-Atlantic city as a consequence of his defeat of the ocean surge that plagued Lagos for decades? Is it true that he has been able to control traffic to a reasonable extent with the establishment of the BRT and last mile? Is it true that today in Lagos you can move from one point to the other in rail? These are some of the infrastructures that are life-changing. And if he was able to do this in Lagos, it is no more far-fetched that he can do it at the national level. Now, when people come to us and promise heaven on earth, the question that we must ask them is that because you have intervened or interfered in our public life in the past, show us what you did in the past that will give us the assurance, that will give us the confidence that whatever you have promised us, that you will bring to bear, that you will bring to reality. You see, in the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is no controversy that his stewardship as Lagos State Governor and as the leader of political business in Lagos from 2007 till today has wrought development in such a magnitude that today Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa. You cannot deny that. And because you cannot deny that, you must support him to do it at the national level. That is what we are saying. We are saying that there are about 3 or 4 front runners in this election. And they are not new to us. They have been with us. They have been governors. Some of them have been ministers. Some of them one has been a vice president. So when they come to us and say that they are going to turn Nigeria into El Dorado, we must ask them, we must interrogate their antecedents and ask them what they did when they were in office the last time. So that is why we are very confident. We of the, what I would like to call the battalions, we are very confident that what the message of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will resonate with the people, because there is Lagos to see. We see Lagos.
Indeed.
And that is exactly what we want him to do in Nigeria, to bring Lagos to Nigeria. That is all.